Hey everyone, Dr. Nuesse from EasyDotPhysicals.com back again with another video. And this is a breaking news update. I wanted to get this information out as soon as possible. I am going to be looking down to read some of my notes here. I wanted to get this information out quickly, so not the most polished video probably. I won't be editing it heavily. You might hear me say a lot during this video, so just bear with me as I get through it. This is a follow-up to the YouTube live video I did just recently. So here is the update. So what most people were predicting actually just happened. As far as federal rescheduling of marijuana. So I'm going to talk about the particulars of what just happened. I'm going to talk about what I think the next steps are going to be. Very important, what these changes are going to mean to the general public, to the public at large, and then my predictions of what is going to happen next and on down the line. So here is the update. So according to CNBC.com and Marijuana Moment, I read articles in both places. This is where I'm getting a lot of this information. A DEA spokesperson confirmed that, and I'm quoting, quote, "We can confirm the DEA received a letter from the Department of Health and Human Services providing its findings and recommendation on marijuana scheduling pursuant to President Biden's request for review." So what this means is that HHS, Health and Human Services, review of marijuana and whether it should be descheduled or rescheduled, that has been completed. And again, I've done a number of videos on updates on that process as it has been ongoing. So that process has been completed, and the recommendation in this letter is that marijuana be moved from a Schedule 1 drug, which it is now, Schedule 1, to a Schedule 3 drug. So it will be moving from a category, Schedule 1, that includes things like heroin, MDMA, what the government considers drugs that have no benefit to society, no medical use whatsoever. And it's moving 2 steps basically from Schedule 2 to Schedule 3. So Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, as you move up, as you move from 2 to 3 to 4, the restrictions basically ease. So it's moving to Schedule 3. That includes things like steroids, prescription drugs like Suboxone, things like that. So let's talk about what this means, what the next steps are, and the implications to the public, like if you have a marijuana related business or if you are subject to marijuana drug testing. So first, again, just to clarify what happened, HHS has been reviewing marijuana to be either descheduled or rescheduled, and this was at the request of President Biden, and this has been ongoing for some time now. On August 30th, that's today as I'm filming this video, it was confirmed that the review process was completed and that HHS recommended to the DEA that marijuana be rescheduled, not descheduled, not taking off of the schedule list of drugs, but rescheduled from 1 to 3. So that is what happened. So now what happens going forward? So the HHS basically did the science portion. President Biden wanted them to review the literature and make recommendations to the DEA on what they think should happen as far as the scheduling. Should it be rescheduled? Should it be descheduled? So they sent this letter just today to the DEA stating that they feel that the science warrants that marijuana be rescheduled, not descheduled, to a Schedule 3 drug. Now the DEA needs to review their findings in this letter and then make a determination. So just because HHS says that marijuana should be Schedule 3 does not mean the DEA has to take their recommendation. Now it seems unreasonable that the DEA would then go against the science. I mean, there is a step-by-step process here. President Biden wanted this review done. HHS does the review and provides the science and then recommends it to the DEA. So I can't see why they would go against the HHS recommendation, especially since it's based on all of their science. But They certainly could. The DEA could certainly choose to chuck out their information in total and just say, no, we're keeping it a Schedule 1, or they can make another determination. Well, we don't feel like Schedule 3 is quite what it should be. Maybe we'll just move it to Schedule 2 at first, but I'm pretty confident that the DEA will then go ahead and accept those findings and move it to a Schedule 3. As of right now, as of the filming of this video, nothing has changed. Marijuana is still a Schedule 1 drug. There are no changes up to this point. It's very important. Just because HHS made this recommendation, there's still a bureaucratic red tape process that needs to go on before it becomes a Schedule 3 drug. All right, so now let's talk about kind of what's important. What does this actually mean? What does it mean for the public? What does it mean if you own a marijuana business, if you need to be drug tested? So there's two really big changes that will occur. And that is, number one, if you do own a marijuana business, it will be much easier for you to do your financials because the federal government has considered legal in state marijuana businesses, like a marijuana dispensary in a legal state, them to be conducting the federal government the federal government considers them, even though they're legal in the state, to be partaking in an illegal business activity. It's been very difficult for dispensaries and other marijuana related businesses to get loans, to get bank accounts, even to make deposits of cash into a bank. It's been very, very difficult for them to do that. This will become much, much easier. And as proof of that, I read another article about marijuana stocks, and they shot up today. So even Wall Street agrees that that will be a very positive thing to marijuana businesses, because the stocks for marijuana businesses went up, all shot up today. The other really big positive thing that's going to happen, and maybe the most important thing that's going to come out of this, is that more research is going to be performed. For so long, because it was a Schedule 1 drug, marijuana was a Schedule 1 drug, the research on it was very, very limited. And I say this in a lot of my videos when I make videos on, different statistics about marijuana or how long it stays in your system, things like that, that it's difficult to find the literature. There just isn't so much out there. I piece it together from different sources a lot of the time. There's going to be a lot more research readily available now, because it's going to be much easier to do the research because it is not a Schedule 1 substance. So that'll be a very, very good thing. More research coming out. And then as more research comes out, if it comes out that marijuana is proven then to be safe and not addictive and doesn't have a high potential for abuse, maybe then it continues to move up the scheduling ladder as far as being maybe a Schedule 4 drug, or maybe comes off, maybe it becomes descheduled based on the evidence. So that is a very, very important thing. The one thing that, unfortunately, this isn't going to be good news for a lot of you. I do a lot of drug testing videos on this channel, is I don't see this changing how drug tests are performed. I don't see marijuana coming off of drug tests because of this change. So federal drug testing, a 5-panel or up drug test, I think marijuana will stay on those drug tests. The good news here is that at the same time, and again, I've done a lot of videos on this subject as well, the FMCSA, the federal government, has begun the process of allowing for saliva testing for federal testing, and as an alternative to urine, which is a very good thing. If you haven't seen any of my videos on why that's such a good thing, please check out one of those videos. I won't go all into that, but so I don't think we'll stop testing for it federally, and probably, if federally we're testing for it, probably a lot of the same jobs, private companies will test for it as well. But the change is coming where we're going to allow for saliva and not just urine. And one other positive potential, and there's no guarantee with this, is that now marijuana it's put in the same category as a lot of prescription drugs. So federally, it might be recognized as a valid way to treat different medical conditions. So that would be a very, very positive thing as well. Again, in certain states you can get it prescribed. In certain states, it's completely legal recreationally, but certain states you can get it prescribed, but still the federal government doesn't recognize that. So it was still tricky as far as that goes. So my opinion is this change is faster than I thought. Nobody really thought this was going to happen so quickly. We thought later this year, maybe early 2024, that this was going to happen. So it happened much earlier. And number two is, I thought they were going to be much more conservative with their recommendation. I thought they were going to recommend to a Schedule 2 instead of a Schedule 1. They went all the way to a Schedule 3. So it's better than what I thought. And I think it's the first right move. I think going right to descheduling it, with the way that the government works, that was just too big of an ask. That was just a bridge too far, obviously, for the government. Whether we'll get there or not, I think we will eventually, probably sooner than later. But I think this is an appropriate right move, moving it to Schedule 3. That's the update. That's what we have up to this point. Stay subscribed to this channel. I will keep bringing updates to you whenever any of these kinds of things change, either with the rescheduling process that's going on, or the saliva testing, or anything else. All right, until next time, everybody, stay safe.